It is 6:51. Breaking news out of Punta Gorda, where a body has been found along southbound I-75 near mile marker 167. NBC2's Clifton French is on scene right now, where traffic, as I can imagine, is a mess. Clifton, what can you tell us?
Well, Clay, traffic has been running pretty slow there on 75, but it is a very, very gruesome scene. So avoid the traffic and avoid seeing anything over there if at all possible. Right now, police are questioning witnesses. We know that a person was lying in the road. That's according to witnesses. The car couldn't see that person and ended up running them over. We don't know why they were lying in the road yet. We don't know anything behind that. FHP is supposed to come and talk to us here in a little bit. Once again, it's a very gruesome scene. This happened about 4:45 this morning. People are obviously still investigating this, and will continue to bring you more coverage here in Charlotte County. Reporting live, Clifton French, NBC2.
Great, thanks, Clifton. I want to let you know that if you want to avoid this area this morning, which I highly suggest you do, I spoke to FHP this morning. They tell me traffic's backed up for about a mile and then continuing on. Your best way to avoid this area is, they say, to take mile marker 167 exit. That's Harborview Road. Then take that to 41. That'll allow you to hop back onto 75 below here, and you'll completely avoid the scene. The scene is just south of a mile marker 167, so you can still escape right before then. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor this, and if anything changes, I will let you know right away. I'm Danielle Kliniak with your NBC2 Traffic Alert.
This NBC2 Traffic Alert is sponsored by Infinity of Fort Myers. Exit 131 off I-75 on 41 right next to Lowe's in Fort Myers.
Well, our Thursday morning is off to a pretty good start across southwest Florida, waking up with just a few high clouds and most of those showers staying offshore. So a mainly dry commute as you head into work this morning. It's warm. Temperatures starting off at 74 degrees in the Bell to 77 in Fort Myers. And for the rest of today, we're looking at a partly sunny sky. The chance for a couple of afternoon showers and storms, mainly east of I-75, with a high of 93 degrees. And over the next 7 days, more of the same, getting back to a typical August pattern. Morning sunshine, afternoon storms into the holiday weekend, with highs into the lower to middle 90s and lows in the mid to upper 70s. That's a look at your first alert forecast.
All right, Kira, thank you. I know you've been tracking this storm. It is 6:54. Entire communities, too. It's like Katrina, unfortunately, waking up underwater this morning in southern Louisiana to face another day of Isaac.
NBC's Danielle Lee joins us live in New Orleans with how people are weathering a storm that doesn't want to die out. And Danielle, we've been chatting with you for a couple days now as the weather is getting progressively worse. What's it like there today?
Good morning, Krista and Clay. Right now, we're not getting rained on. I mean, it's pretty incredible. We're talking about more than 24 hours of straight rain, finally getting a break in this storm, and also getting a look at the damage. The French Quarter, where I am, was really spared some damage. But when you look at all of Louisiana, the price tag right now is $24 million and counting. We are talking about significant flooding throughout many parts of southern Louisiana, portions where just the rooftops of homes are showing because of that flooding. Thousands evacuated, hundreds will be waking up in shelter, and most of New Orleans doesn't even have power right now, and throughout Louisiana, close to 1 million people without power. It's going to be days before the power's back on. It's just this morning that the energy company is finally able to start working on that because the winds have slowed down, and stores here do tell me that they hope to reopen today. Now, that is in part because the mayor has been calling business owners saying, if you have power, please open, so that these people who are in trouble, who have been cooped up for 24 hours, who need assistance, can start to get it and possibly start to get some emergency supplies. And really the thing to remember is that this storm isn't done. It's still moving inland. So as much as we're seeing a break here, the threat is still out there. Reporting live in New Orleans, I'm Danielle Lee. Back to you.
Danielle, we asked you this question a couple of days ago. You know, it obviously wasn't as powerful as Katrina, and a lot of people were like, well, it's no Katrina, right. You know, this is just tropical storm, you know, it's a Category 1 hurricane. Not the case this morning. Are people second guessing, especially in Plaquemines Parish this morning?
Well, you know, it's interesting. In Plaquemines Parish, it's an interesting situation because here in New Orleans, the levees, the federal levees, where $14 billion were spent, they did their job. And so this part of the city was really spared a lot of damage. Plaquemines Parish didn't have those levees. They had local parish levees. And so the water did tip over, and they were terrified. And, you know, they were told days before the storm to leave, and many of them didn't. And it was really interesting hearing one woman talk. She said, you know, we packed up to leave. We were going to leave, and then we thought, where am I going to go? And so they didn't leave. And I know some of them wish that they had, but we're talking about a group of people that are pretty limited on their resources. And so, you know, this situation just makes it all the worse for them. And, you know, I think either way, they would have been coming home to not having homes. And that's a pretty tough situation to be in here. But the good news is that those federal levies did work, and much of this part of the city was spared a lot of damage.
All right, Danielle Lee reporting for us in New Orleans live this morning. And stay dry out there, Danielle, and just sad. But we're seeing some wonderful rescue stories, so there are some good stories coming out of that area.
Thanks, Danielle. We appreciate it. Today is Mitt Romney's turn to step up as he prepares for the most important speech of his Republican presidential campaign to his party's convention and an audience of millions. Vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan provided a rousing warm-up last night, vowing an end to dodging painful budget choices.
And our own Chad Oliver and Peter Bush are in Tampa covering all of the events. Then next week, NBC2 heads to Charlotte, North Carolina for the Democratic National Convention. You can watch the RNC live here on NBC2 at 10 o'clock tonight. Well, Isaac is turning out to be bad for drivers' wallets. Right now, new numbers in from overnight. We're paying an average of $3.82 in Southwest Florida as Hurricane Isaac swamps the nation's oil and gas hub along the Gulf Coast. It's delivering sharply higher pump prices, even some areas outside the storm's reach. Some drivers are being hit with the biggest one-day jump in gasoline prices in 18 months.
All right, 6:58 right now. We're following some breaking traffic news. Danielle, I know you just got some new information.
Yeah, we just got a press release. We're finding out that a body was struck by several cars along this area. Now, this is on I-75 near mile marker 167. This is a mess for commuters as they head out the door this morning. If you are heading out the door southbound, we suggest you take the exit on mile marker 167. That's Harborview Road, and then take that to 41. They do not know how much longer until things will be cleared up. So definite traffic alert for those heading out the door.
US 41 South is going to be your best friend this morning, coming into Lee County out of Charlotte County if you use that. Okay, thank you, Danielle.
Let's take a look at weather and getting back to normal, so to speak.
Finally, getting back to normal. We'll be starting off with some sunshine, some high clouds in the mix with a high of 93 degrees today, and we do have a couple of isolated showers and storms in the forecast this afternoon. That trend will continue all the way through the holiday weekend. Morning sun, afternoon storms, and highs into the lower to middle 90s.
Of course, we have crews on the scene of that accident in Charlotte County on I-75, and we're going to continue to update you throughout the morning.
Yeah, let's take a look as we go to break right now. You can see traffic on southbound I-75 is pretty much at a standstill. But once again, Danielle, you can move though, right?
Yeah,
it's not
traffic
blocked,
is being
right?
diverted southbound to the right shoulder, but again, it's just a mess
Not a
out
good
there.
idea.
You want to avoid it for sure this morning.
Okay, we're still trying to figure out why there was a body found there on the side of 75. But once again, for your morning commute, definitely use 41 South if you're in Charlotte County this morning in Punta Gorda. We'll take you now to New York and the Today Show. Have a great Thursday, everyone. Take care.